Hello, good afternoon. How's everyone doing? Doing all right? Good. That is what I like to hear. I'm doing all right. I'm very pleased that I've gone through the complete album Auberge, the deluxe edition by Chris Rea. And though I'm quite satisfied for having gone through every song on that album, there are other songs by Chris on other albums that deserve to be looked at. So I will be every now and then considering a song which I was impressed by. And today I will be considering the very first song from the album Shamrock Diaries. And this is an album I listened to last year. And again, I was really impressed with the lyrics, with the melody, with the instruments, everything. Much to like about the music of Chris Rea. And this album has a few songs which I'd like to consider. I won't consider every single song, but there are a few that I would like to consider on this album. So let's begin by knowing a little bit about Shamrock Diaries. So Shamrock Diaries, it is the seventh studio album by Chris Rea. And it was released in 1985. Now, if you know about Chris Rea, then you would know that this is one of his commercially successful albums. Very successful. And it reached the top 20 in many countries in amount of sales. In Ireland, in West Germany, in Czechoslovakia, Sweden, and in the UK. And excuse me, outside of Europe, even in Australia, the song that I'll be looking at does make reference to Australia. And that could be enough reason why the album did very well in Australia. But it's also the kind of music that is on this album. I've listened to some groups from Australia, and Chris has the kind of music that goes very well with how I perceive Australia to be culturally. So there is a song I'll be looking at later called Stainsby Girls, and that song you'll find out. So about this album again, because this is the very first recording I'm making, so I'm not just considering the track, I'm considering rather the album. Or what I could do on second thought is not consider the song, but rather devote this first recording, which is going to be just a few minutes, to introducing the album, and then we'll see how it goes. So this album was composed entirely by Chris Rea when he was staying in Ireland. There's also a deluxe version of this album, of Shamrock Diaries. But I'm looking at just the version that came before the deluxe. So Chris says that this album has much to do with himself and his family. What are the songs on this album? The first one is Steel River. There's Stainsby Girls, Chisel Hill, Josephine. Excuse me. One Golden Rule, beautiful song. All Summer Long, Stone. Then the 8th track is Shamrock Diaries. 9th track is Love Turns to Lies. And the 10th song is Hired Gun. These are the 10 tracks on the Shamrock Diaries. And I'll tell you, every single one of these tracks is absolutely beautiful. A little bit of background for the songs, a couple of the songs. Now, Stainsby Girls, it was a tribute to his wife, Joanne, and she was a former student at the Stainsby Secondary Modern School. The well-known song, Josephine, which is one of my favorites, is written for his daughter. Chris wrote that song, Josephine, for his daughter. And this album doesn't have that song, but I've heard another song called Julia. And guess what? That is about his second, or rather his youngest daughter. I've heard that song too. Another beautiful song. You can tell by listening to the song that some songs are closer to his heart. And why are they closer to his heart is because those songs are related to his own life and his family. So, coming back to what I had intended to do, to say a little bit about the song Steel River. Now, I believe there was an interview Chris Rea had with Q Magazine, and he told him that he witnessed the death of his father and his mother, and then this place where he was from had completely changed from his earlier memories. And when he came back after a tour in Europe, in just 3 years, not even comparing to that earlier time in his life, that this place was completely, as he says, knocked the whole place down. These are the exact words he said. I literally went to drive somewhere that wasn't there. It was like a sci-fi movie. That's when I wrote Steel River. The Middlesbrough I knew. It's as if there was a war there 10 years ago. So these are his exact words. So what he witnessed, he tried to express in the song Steel River. We'll come across other songs too, and I'm not so sure that I will have the backstory of every single song. But while I'm at it, I do have some information about Chisel Hill. Chisel Hill is in reference to a house that Chris Rea had bought in the vicinity of Rosebery Topping, just south of Middlesbrough. And it has a distinctive half-cone shaped summit. Chisel Hill we're talking about. And Rea in the interview said that this song is very close to his heart. His exact words were, "The song can make me cry quite easily. We'd reached the point where we'd bought a house. I had a child. We were very happy. We'd kept the wolf from the door and things were okay. Wrote that song all in one quick go. Whoever wrote that song back then, he must have been a really happy guy. Yeah, the song gets me." So I think without having known this backstory, I still, simply by the merit of the music and the sentiments it conveys, I was moved to consider this album before any other. And now that I'm looking at the backstory of the songs, I can easily tell why I have this inclination. Because this album is a part of Chris Rea's life. He is remembering the places he was familiar with. He's remembering his own life, his home, his hometown, his wife, his daughter, his mom and dad. So this song has, or this album rather, has some very beautiful music. I could say that if you want to pick one album by Chris Rea, not a compilation would have songs from different albums. But if you wanted to pick one album to get to know Chris Rea as a musician, then go ahead and pick this album from 1985, Shamrock Diaries. Chris is really true to himself in these songs. The poetry, the lyrics are just second to none, and you will love the music. I could tell when I first listened to Chris Rea's music that there's a truth in his music. Not only is there immense skill and what one would call God's gift to this man, but there is his own soul in this album, his life. So this is an introduction to this album, and at this point I am thinking that I would like to cover every single song from this album. There are 10 songs, and I think I can cover these 10 songs in about a couple of weeks. So I'll be considering the lyrics. It's something I'm doing for pleasure, and I'm sure I'm doing this in appreciation of the man and the music that is Chris Rea. And I hope you enjoy listening to this. So thank you very much for your attention, for your company. I'll see you another time. Thank you. Take care and goodbye.